Hey, Mike here. Getting ready to build another evaporator for my refrigerator here, the R290 propane fridge. Static condenser, static evaporator. This evaporator is going to be a stainless steel 2-inch half steam table pan. It's going to be mounted in the top of the refrigerator cabinet. This vessel is going to be filled with about a 10% propylene glycol to water mix. Looking for it to freeze, and then the fins there to add some surface area. So I figured out how to bond stainless steel with solder a couple of days ago using this 95.5 tin antimony. There's no silver in this, but as I understand it, silver solder would work very well. I'm pretty happy with this. This in combination with this nasty Stay Clean stuff. It's pretty corrosive. Gotta watch getting it on you. I haven't gotten any skin irritation yet, but I have been wearing gloves and glasses when I'm working with it. I don't want it spattering up my face. So small parts with this. I've bonded stainless to stainless and stainless to copper. I don't know where that piece is. I think I chucked it. And then here I have some sheet metal work. This is the pan is 24 gauge. The stainless steel sheet that I got, this is 316 22 gauge. So I had a bunch of this cut at Metal Supermarket, and I actually, after I had it cut, I changed my plan. But one thing that remained was these fins. I had them cut all these fins, and then I bought a brake at Harbor Freight. I think it's like 38-inch or something. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass to set it up, but it's small, so it works pretty well. So I bent all these into 90s like this, so I could solder the base. Now, I knew there's going to be some warping. Warping's been an ongoing problem with doing sheet, and I just thought, well, I'm just going to jump into it, and you know, as I do one after the next, I'll learn something, and I did. I got better at it. When I started, I used 2 clamps and a bar of extruded aluminum here that I laying around, and I put the aluminum up underneath, and then I clamped just with 2 clamps, one on either end. Well, what I noticed right away, let's see, this is the last one, it's the first one here. Not only did I get this obvious warping once everything cooled down, the stainless steel pan, the bottom of the pan would warp a lot, and then as the bond formed and everything cooled, get this bow into it. And most of them go one direction, some of them go the other way, just depending on how I clamped it and how I heated it. Initially I had the thing kind of leaned back so that I would be able to solder down in the divot and try to get a good puddle. But I think what I found out later on was it was better off to keep it level. Because my liquid flux would just run away, and with the warping of the bottom, it left these pockets and holes where the flux would just run away. So it was a big problem. I wanted to get a bar on the top and the bottom, clamp the top down, but it was hard enough to just get everything lined up with. I eventually went to 4 clamps, so like boom, 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 just to get everything lined up with my score marks that were on the bottom of the pan, that I didn't even continue looking for one. I think I should have done that, just ripped something like that down, or I don't know. That would have held the stainless together, because otherwise I got this warping. See it there? See all the raised areas there where it's separated, and the kind of darker divots there where I had it clamped. But nonetheless, I think I got a pretty good bond. I did get a little better as I went on here to the last one. And then the final thing that I did was bond these pieces on the end. I'm really happy with the way those turned out. I hadn't had those cut. I cut those myself with some metal shears. And in doing so, it had a really bad bow to the plate. So I used the brake, and I bent a little 1/4-inch kind of tabs on the end, which pretty well flattened everything out, made it good and rigid. And then I cut a second piece of extruded aluminum and clamped it on both sides. Just used 2 clamps and 2 bars, and stood it upright, and then I fluxed the bottom of this sheet real well, so it was in good contact with the pan. and I flexed the little groove there, and boy, it soldered up nice. Little booger right there, but it actually penetrated the whole way through. Not in every area there, but pretty well. It's definitely, I can definitely see where the solder made its way through. So that's a really good bond there, and it didn't bow much. Partly because I had bars on both sides, and the other reason is probably because of that little bend in the end. So if I were to do this again, I would definitely get a bar and clamp it securely on both sides. Build a jig or something like that. I'd probably also put little 1/4-inch bends in the ends of these too to prevent these from warping, because just because I have the bottom clamped well, these are probably still going to warp. And then I do it all level and get my flux in there real well. That flux is key. Cleanliness and flux. So I got a bit of a primer, some experience with stainless. It's good and heavy. Okay, so this is going to get mounted up in a little bit. I have to bend my my copper coil that's going to lay in the bottom of this. Something else to consider, and I thought about this early on, if I were to get a hold of some paste flux that's contains bits of solder and flux all together, you just kind of squeeze it out like a mustard bottle, and coat both surfaces, and then bake it or put it on a hot plate. Now I have neither an oven nor a hot plate. I'm not putting this in the house at all, particularly because it's a gas oven. But that's something I might consider in the future, is looking into a paste flux, and that way the whole thing gets heated evenly. The hard part about that is just getting the temperature right and the right paste flux, and getting everything clamped, because everything needs to be installed more or less, and with the paste flux applied, and that would allow the whole thing to be heated evenly. I'd expect less warping, much better bonds. But this was a good learning experience. I'm happy with it, and I think I'm going to learn a lot as I progress in the refrigeration side of things. There's a bit of a gap there, but hey, do what you can. So I know a lot more about it than I did last week. So yeah, I'm going to continue on, and another update coming soon.